Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Wraith, and today I'm going to be going over how to ensure that you are tournament ready before attending an event. So this is quite handy for beginners going to their first few tournaments, or even veterans, and it's just an insight to what I bring to tournaments. Yeah, we got a lovely little bit of Tabletop Simulator to give your eyes something glorious to look at, because as people say, it's always good to see some miniatures. So, the first thing is quite simple, okay? You got to know the tournament pack. So, the tournament that you're attending should have a tournament pack, which gives you all the information. So, how many points the armies are, what the little rules for the tournaments are. So, some tournaments do not allow yellow allies. Some tournaments allow any allies. Some tournaments have banned models or banned legendary legions. I haven't gone to any tournaments that have banned anything yet, but you know, who knows in the future. But you need to know, because the last thing you want to do is write a list up with, I don't know, Tom Bombadil in it and find out Tom Bombadil was actually banned and you can't use him, but you didn't bring anything else. That would suck. You should be told when you hand in your lists, but you're expected to know the rules of the tournament. So make sure you check that. And it should have a little checklist of what you want to bring. But I'm going to give you some extra tips and tricks. So, straight away, ignore this list. It's just a fancy list. I didn't do the points or anything. It's just to look cool. You want to know how many points. So, let's pretend this is, I don't know, 600 points. Cool. We've got our army list. Ensure you follow all the rules in the Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game rulebook. So, that's regarding bow limit. So, I've got 5 here, but that's well within the 33% bow limit. All the warbands are being led by a hero. They've got the right amount of followers for their heroic tier. Happy days. And then make sure your models are painted and based, okay? If you want to go minimalistic, sure. I think the minimum is like 3 colours per model. Just don't be that guy that tries to get away with like spraying them black and putting 3 different coloured dots on them. Make them look cool, because Lord of the Rings is all about the aesthetic and the look, in my opinion. Okay, sure, you can be competitive, but make them look cool. You don't have to be the best painter in the world, but you got to try and paint it up to look like an orc, if that makes sense. Basing, very simple. Just whack some sand on it and a grass tuft, and you're good to go. It's not the end of the world. They don't have to be fantastic, but one of the great things about Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game is how much time people put into their models. I've seen some absolutely phenomenal armies, and I've been to Age of Sigmar tournaments, I've been to fancy 40k tournaments, stuff like that, even Kill Team, Warcry, and Lord of the Rings still takes the prize home for like the best looking armies, in my opinion, of what people can do. So if you have got the ability to do it, really lean into it. Go on, show off. If you don't worry about it, just do your best and they'll still look stunning. I mean, as long as you like them, who cares? Okay, but no one likes 3 different coloured dots on a model. There we go. We've got that out of the way. Next, what we've got to do is pretty much make sure we've got the basics. So we're going to have dice. What I would suggest with your dice is pick your favourite dice. So obviously I'm going to go for Mordor, and then I'd also pick another coloured dice. Bring 2 sets of dice, and this simply for one reason. Say we've got a combat, okay, this orc here, let's change his colour, he's going to be a baddie, okay? Red base is a baddie, pretend he's an elf or something. And we've suddenly got an orc hunter on him, a captain on him, and then we've got, I don't know, 2 Gundabad orcs. Sweet, sorted, yeah? Easy. You could roll them separately, sure, but I always find it a lot quicker saying, righto, okay, here we go. Red dice, that's the captain. He's got might. Wow, boom, look at that. Oh no, the elf rolled, I don't know, 6. It didn't. But I could might that red one, and it's really, really clear. It comes to striking, say we beat him, he's knocked back and knocked prone. I can then go, right, okay, the red dice is strength 4 because it's the captain. Not enough to kill him, I know I've got might, so I'm going to pop that, and now that's a dead elf. There we go, that's a lot quicker. So you could do, you know what, I'll roll separately for the Gundabad orcs. Okay, they get a 5. I'm going to roll separately for the captain. He gets a 3. It just takes a little bit longer. I think it's just courteous to be as quick as possible if you can. So 2 sets of dice, okay? 2 different colours. But yeah, you don't need that many dice in Lord of the Rings. I think like in the standard packs you get like 8. So 8 dice is more than enough. And then maximum I'd probably bring is 16. So 2 sets of 8 of different colours maybe. Sure, go for it. Because there's lots of different rolls you have to make in some of the armies. Some people two-handing, some people have got piercing strike, you fainted one of the models. So it's all different rolls, okay? All different rolls, and it just speeds up the game. The next thing I'm going to suggest you bring, so we've got our army, we've got our dice, is objective markers. Now these are fine for objective markers, sure, okay? Little 25mm squares, circles. But I like Middle Earth quite a lot, and I really like my armies. I would suggest, if you've got the time and can be bothered, to either buy some really cool objective markers of the right base size that represent your army, or make your own. So for like my Dead have done Harrow, you can have like a pile of skulls on a base, or you can go for like one of the like decrepit looking statues that I see outside of the Dunharrow. Mordor has got, you know, an dead elf with a like an Mordor banner in him, stuff like that. So make your objective markers your own, and that way that's another thing you can show off as well. It's really cool, really cool. So yeah, but bring 6 objective markers, because that's the maximum you're going to need in any of the scenarios is 6. Minimum is 1 in the center. Sometimes you don't even need any, but it's cool to have your own, because sure, you can just use like the spare model you brought or the flat bits of cardboard, but it's all about the aesthetic, I think. Okay, that's my opinion. The other thing you're going to be wanting to pack is some way to track your might, will and fate, and some way to make it clear to your opponent as well to see it. So you don't have to do this, I tend to either hand draw or print out something I've done on the computer, where you've got, say, 𝐾𝐲, you know, whatever his might is, 3-1-1 or whatever, his warg underneath him, something underneath him, and I do them as little circles. So if he's got 3 might, in the might section it'll have 3 circles. So imagine that's the page, and these are the little circles. It'll be something like that, and all I'll do is, if I've spent 1 might, say, I'll scribble it out or fill it in. Okay, perfect. You can do that with a pencil and just rub it out. Just make sure you draw the circles in pen, or you can go OTT, go all out and laminate the piece of paper, and then you can use a Sharpie or something like that. Perfect, absolutely perfect. That way you can place that piece of paper in the center of the table, or off to the right. Boom, there it is. Okay, I'm facing this way, my opponent's facing towards me. There's my might, will and fate. Cool, 𝐾𝐲 is going to spend a point of might. I'm going to scribble it out. There you go. Your opponent can see it, you can see it. Very clear. Perfect. If you're doing it on the cheap, which is fine, because that's how I started, you just get a notebook, okay? And then just write it down at the start of each game. Easy peasy. And you can do something similar. You can draw a little chart, have 𝐾𝐲, might, will and fate, do circles, and then just scribble them in. Done. Happy days, easy peasy. Cool. So I'm not going to like baby you too much, but obviously bring your rule book. Okay, bring the match play guide if they're using that, if you can get it, and bring your army book. Okay, simple. But to make your life easier, you can get what I call a cheat sheet, which is similar to what you've seen here. They're really easy to find. Usually you can just print one out and you'll have it there, and it will tell you a quick reference of like a wound chart, Throne Rider table, stuff like that. Just the quick reference things that you need to check. So I really like having the wound chart, because I mean, I know the wound chart off by heart because I'm a nerd, but sometimes I do have opponents who don't know it as well as me, or you might be that opponent who doesn't know that well, so you can check and see if it's worth shooting at that particular model. But I know something like strength 2 against defense 7 is 6s by 4s, so am I going to shoot at that defense 7 dude? Nah, I'm going to go for the defense 6 dude because it's just 6s. Easy peasy. If you're using magic as well, the a little like cheat kind of like spell list is quite handy as well. I know the spells off by heart. That's a good thing to do, learn your army off by heart. But if you don't know it off by heart because you're beginning or trying a new faction out, it's absolutely fine. But if you can, even just write it down on bits of cards. You can go to any shop, buy A4 card, write down transfix, you know, cannot move, dual roll, cannot strike if wins. Easy peasy. And it's just a quick reference for you. And if something does get brought up that the rulebook is required, you can get the rulebook out. But it's a quick reference, so that's quite handy. Having little things to mark off if people are affected by anything you might have. So I do have little tokens, and they're really easy to do. You can get little tokens for everything. Like I've got a whole Necromunda set, and then one of them has got like a blood drop on it, and that's quite handy for wounds. One of them has got a guy who looks like he's prone, that's handy for prone. And then you can just say whatever you want. Like the skull means someone's paralyzed. Boom. Skull next to Azog, I've paralyzed Azog if I'm using Angmar, for example, or something like that. Yeah, it's quite handy. And that way you don't forget and your opponent doesn't forget. And there's no accidental, okay, I'm just going to move Azog. He moves him and go, oh, wait, I paralyzed him, remember? Oh, cool, yeah, I'll pop him back. He was here, he moves him here, so oh, yeah, I'll pop him back. Cool. Not quite the same place, but in the same general area, but that could affect the game. Depends how nitpicky you want to be, but having that marker there, kind of, no excuse really. Right, so we've gone over the basics of what to bring. It's quite easy. So your army, your books, cheat sheet, dice, different sets, your markers, and your objective markers. Not hard, eh? Okay, these are the basics. These are now the more advanced tips I'm going to give you to what I bring to a tournament. And you don't have to follow them, but I think they're good advice, okay? So if anyone knows me, I'm a bit of a health freak anyway, fitness freak. But when I go to a tournament, I ensure I have drinking water, okay? It sounds mental, sure, you can down monsters and coffees, but staying hydrated, A, is awesome for your body, and B, is absolutely fantastic when you're doing anything requiring thinking or memory, okay? Because staying hydrated just helps you think way clearer. You don't want to have a pounding headache from coming down from a sugar rush because you've been downing nothing but monsters, or you're running pure on sugar. You'll just think clearer, and it tends to chill you out a bit more. So if you're having a bad experience at a game, you can calm down. But who knows? I mean, the only thing that triggers me massively is just horrific dice, and I hate my dice sometimes, and I get angry with my dice, but that can't be helped. So yeah, good drinking water. You can still drink your Monster or your 18 cups of coffee or whatever on the side, but just make sure you balance it out with water, okay? Or even juice, diluting juice or whatever you want to call it. Squash. Perfect. Stay hydrated. Very important. On that note, when it comes to lunchtime, I would personally suggest you pack something for lunch. It would be probably cheaper for you. It depends where you're going, of course. If you're going up, if you live down south and you're going all the way up to Manchester or something, sure, your packed lunch is not going to last 2 days, but you can still buy something quite healthy. But eat healthy, so have something that doesn't smell, mainly, and that is relatively healthy for you. So I like eating a salad, and then having trail mix or something like that. You can still go to Burger King, but just filling yourself full of rubbish just makes you feel a bit more rubbish. So you can just eat a little bit healthy, even if it's ham sandwiches. Boom, way healthier than going to McDonald's. Okay, don't give them your money. So those 2 points are quite important if you've got a multi-day event. Yeah, you want to stay clear-headed. You want to win. Come on, you want to do well. Maybe you don't want to win, but you want to do well. Okay, you don't want to forget stuff, especially if it's a new faction. The last thing, and this is probably my most important one. Well, I don't know. Wars are quite important, but there's one for comfort. Okay, I suggest you think about what shoes you bring, because when I'm at a tournament, I stand up all day. I'm on my feet all day. You can sit down, sure, but I spend most of my time on my feet. Okay, and some tournaments don't even have chairs, especially if they're quite busy. Okay, they don't have the room for everyone to just sit around and lounge. So nice, comfortable boots or something like that, or trainers, whatever fits like a glove. And on top of that, if you don't have them, have some kind of gel insoles or something like that, just to cushion it, just to make it that much nicer to stand there. Okay, it sounds really, really mediocre, but trust me, it's good advice. Do it. I do it all the time. I make sure I have my insoles in my shoes. I've got boots that fit me like a glove, and I love them, and I can wear them all day. But if I'm on my feet all day, having those insoles just makes it even better. Okay, you don't want to be sat there thinking or stood there, should I say, thinking about how painful your feet are feeling right now because you've been stood there for about 6 hours. So yeah, something to think about. It's obviously not a must, but it's my little friendly piece of advice to you going to a tournament. Nice, comfortable footwear and insoles. So now you're there, okay, you're at the tournament and you're going to have your first game. So these are just some little tips and tricks for kind of like etiquette at tournaments, how to deal with certain people, stuff like that. So just little tips, again, which is the whole video. So I'm going to go over etiquette first. Goes without saying, don't touch your opponent's models unless you have permission to. Sometimes it's easier for you to move their cavalry into charging your rear line because you're closer, but don't just grab it and do it for them. Just say, would you like me to move your model into combat? They'll say no or yes. If they say no, no dramas, cool, less effort for you. But if they say yes, yeah, cool, you can do it. Fantastic. The other thing is, if you're going to decide to snack at the table, don't have like cheese puffs or something that's going to cover everything in powder, because that just sucks. I've gone against an opponent who just covered his entire army in powder, and then his dice in powder, which then turned the table into powder, which then went on all my models. That sucks, because I spend a lot of time on modern models, and I don't want his greasy cheese puff powder on everything. That's fine. Okay, if you want to eat something smelly, go for it, but just bring baby wipes or something. Okay, it's another thing. There's another tip here. Okay, so it's just being clear. Be clear. So, say in this situation, I'm playing as 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐿. It's my move phase. He hasn't moved yet. I'm going to move 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐿 there. And imagine I've got a tape measure, but obviously TTS, there's no way of saying it. You can do that. Say, are you happy to say that is out of 6 inches? Okay, if your opponent looks over, goes, yep, that's out 6 inches. He can't then go in his movement phase by some miraculous way. He's just measured from there. Go, oh, look at that. I'm just about in charge range. Perfect. Cool. Charges. All right. Make your intent clear. I want to stay 6 inches away from the King of the Dead. Would you agree that is outside of 6 inches? Obviously, ignore the 0.3 inches there. You don't really get to do that with a tape measure, but there we go. Keep your intentions clear. This goes for anything really. So if I grab one of those markers again, boom, look at that. There's an objective. Cool. All right. I need to be within 3. There we go. Are you happy that my Orc Hunter is within 3 inches of that objective? Yes. Sweet. Okay. So that way there's no fiddling around later on in the game. If the game ends going, who's within 3 inches? Right, is the Hunter Orc Captain? I don't know, just about. That's bang on 3 inches, but could go either way if you're using a tape measure. Nope, we clarified it earlier. He is within 3 inches. Happy days. Same with your whole warband. Like, are you happy to say that my entire front rank is within 3 inches? No, that guy needs to be a bit closer. If you want them all to be in, sweet. I'll just move him. I've got the movement. There we go. You happy? Happy, happy, happy. Cool. I know I've got at least, 6 models within 3 inches of that objective. Happy days. Be clear. So that's just quick going over the etiquette of being at a tournament. Okay. The last thing I want to mention is ensure that your opponent understands your army and make it obvious that you're willing to explain it. So every time I go to a table, I'll put my force down. In this case, it's, I don't know, Hunter Orcs. And I'll ask my opponent, hi, have you played against Hunter Orcs before? Or 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐿? And they'll go, yeah, I know everything. Sweet. Happy days. No dramas. Easy, done. But I recently had it at a tournament where someone hasn't played against Army of Thrall before, and I'll just give them the lowdown of what Army of Thrall does. So, have you played against Army of Thrall before? No, never. What are they like? Well, I'll tell you what they all do. Cool, Thrall has the Arkenstone, it does this. Thrain has a battlefield-wide stand files for all my dwarves, so on, so on, so on. Because you don't want to have that gotcha hammer, as they call it. We're not playing 40k or whatever. We're playing Middle-earth strategy battle game. Just be clear. And it sets a friendly tone to the start of the battle, okay? That you're willing to have a good time with them and willing to have a fair game with your opponent. That's all. And it goes on the flip side as well. If you go against the Dead of Dunharrow, and you've never faced the Dead of Dunharrow and you haven't really looked at them, go, oh cool, I haven't played against Dead of Dunharrow, what do they do? And they should, if they're a decent person, tell you, okay? If they don't, I mean, it's double blank. Cool, I'm going to have a look at my book and see what they do. And you can sit there for a bit and read about what their army does. Your opponent should just tell you. Cool, King of the Dead's got, his insta-kill rule. He's got 6 will. Fantastic. That's it. Happy days. Easy. And if you're both doing that, then it should be a nice friendly game. Cool, that's etiquette done. If you think I've missed anything, let me know in the comment section down below. But it is just a quick video, hopefully. The last thing I want to talk about is how to deal with different players, okay? And this is a question I get asked quite a bit, especially by like local friends and that. Because I play with a nice group of people. My good friends that I play all the time with are really, really nice people, okay? But sometimes they're too nice. And this is a small minority of Middle-earth tournament goers, but you can get that guy, okay? And by that guy is someone who will try and bend the rules to their advantage, or give you advice that's really bad advice, or just be that guy in general. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, okay? And then you get the quite toxic people, okay? I hate saying toxic people, but it describes it well, okay? Who are just not that friendly, absolutely full of competitive rage, as if they're going to win, like, I don't know, £1 million or $1 million or whatever, for winning that tournament if they beat you. So they'll just give you absolutely no leeway. They'll pick you up on absolutely everything you do. You move your model and he goes, that's over 6 inches. When in your eyes, it wasn't over 6 inches. It was well within 6 inches. But I've met people like that. Okay, I have met people like that, unfortunately, which is fine. I don't have a problem with people like that. Okay, I know how to deal with them. But the advice I'll give you is definitely kill them with kindness, okay? Be nice, always be polite. Don't start kicking off or anything like that. That doesn't solve anything. That's like last resort, okay? But the best piece of advice I can give you, if you find anyone like that at all, and they shouldn't be in the hobby at all if they're like that, but if you do come across a person like that, is stand your ground, okay? Absolutely stand your ground. You need to. You can't be walked on. If you think that model you've just moved is within 6 inches, say, no, that was 6 inches. Don't disagree, okay? If you think that troll who just threw a rock should have taken it in the way for that pillar against your model, fight it, okay? Because the amount of times I see it was like, oh, okay, I'm going to throw this rock, cool, it's a hit, cool, I'm going to roll to wound. And he goes, oh, isn't the pillar in the way? They go, no, it's not in the way. No, if you think it's in the way, so no, sorry, mate, I think that's in the way. And then if you both can't agree with it, get a third party in. I never mind if someone comes and gets me. It's happened quite a few times. Someone comes over, sorry, mate, if you've got a moment, can you help us out with something? I'll come over and go, how's that troll gone in the way to hit my warrior? I'll have a look. I have no connection to this game. I don't know these people. I'll have a look, go, no, there's no in the way. Or I'll go, yeah, absolutely, that's in the way for the pillar. There you go. Sorted. But just don't just take it, okay? I see it quite a lot where people just take, like, yeah, sure, okay, there's no in the way. Because people don't want confrontation, okay? But the thing is, they're already starting a confrontation by arguing with you, okay? If you think there's an in the way, which is the rules, just say, there is an in the way. I think there is. And then get down, both of you go. If you're still adamant that there's no in the way, and you're adamant that there is, go get that third party. Perfect, okay? So just, yeah, if you think you're in the right, fight for it, okay? Absolutely. Just be a bit firm. You don't have to be annoying. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be anything like that. You can be very kind. And just, yeah, that's it. All it takes is, sorry, mate, I think there is in the way. I'm sorry. That was 6 inches. I did measure it, okay? And if they decide to be an idiot about it, then that's on them. But stand your ground, okay? All because you're new or less aggressive, I want to say, than that person, doesn't mean you should get walked all over. You have a right to be there. You've paid to be there. You have a right to have a fair, fun game. Stick to your guns and call them out. And it goes the same the other way. So if you do see your opponent moving his model or her model or whatever, like that, boom, 6 inches. Go, no, that was way over 6 inches. Okay, you can call them out on it. If it gets to the point where he's measuring it back and it's like, no, that was 6 inches, see, I can get to there easy, boom, it gets silly. But just try and say, okay, when you measure, can you just hang on a second and don't fly them across the map, okay? So measure, yep, he gets to there, happy days. Okay, both of you have seen it, then he'll put down the model or move the model. I'd measure first, if anything. So measure 6 inches, he gets to that point, cool, I'd pop my finger on there and move the model there. So yeah, just don't let people bully you, okay? Because we don't need that. And that is not that you will get that at all at tournaments. You shouldn't do, but it's just to prepare you if you do, okay? So yeah, stand your ground. Awesome. Especially if you've been courteous the whole time as well. And if you're not receiving courtesy, you've just got that guy, okay? And you're just going to have to just carry on being courteous, be nice, but yeah, be firm. All because someone does call you out though, doesn't mean you're right, okay? So sometimes you might be moving a little bit over 6 inches, and that's because, I don't know, you're just not as accurate as some people, which is fine, it happens. But if you do feel like you're getting picked up on everything, just give them no reason to complain. Like I said, measure, pop your finger down where it hits 6 inches, boom, happy that's 6 inches, yeah, I'm happy with that 6 inches, you then move your model to that point. No argument can be said. Like I said earlier, be clear in your intentions. Are you happy to say that's 6 inches away? No, I'm not happy with that. That looks over 6 inches to me. Both of you measure it. If you can't just agree, get a third party. But yeah, if he says, yeah, that is 6 inches away, or for example here, are you happy to say that's within 10 inches to get to, I don't know, that ghost? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Awesome. Just move them in. But yeah, that's it really. That smile. That damn smile. Anyway, yeah, that's all I've got with for you. Just a few quick tips and tricks on going to your first event or ongoing events. Okay, I hope you find them helpful. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think I've missed anything or if you think I'm wrong on anything. Okay, if you do think I'm wrong, absolutely tell me. Just be nice about it. Just like, oh, sorry, mate. I think you're mistaken. You shouldn't have to measure for your models. They should all move 24 inches. No, I'm joking. But yeah, if you like the video, do hit the like button so I know that people like these kind of like quick competitive tip videos. And if you're feeling especially saintly today, do consider subscribing. But even if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next tournament. Goodbye.